and gentlemen, welcome to Mom One on One. I am your host, Charlene Kadhuni. So, on today's topic, we are going to talk about leadership, and we are joined by an amazing friend and a great leader. His name is Charles Kamau Karondo. Welcome to the show, Charles.
Thank you very much, Charlene.
Yes, I would like you to tell us more about yourself.
All right, thank you very much. Hello, everyone. My name is Charles Kamau Karondo, as she clearly stated. And Charles Karondo is a former student leader at Mount Kenya University, Thika main campus, currently working at Kiharu constituency with the Honorable MP, Dindi Nyoro, and also a director at MIPS College, Thika. Thank you for hosting me.
Okay, anytime. So, Charles, I know you are well versed with the topic leadership. So, the first question I would love to ask is, are leaders born or are they made?
That's an interesting point to start at. And I think leadership is an interesting topic, as you said. Mm-hmm. It's also a topic that I love so much. It's a topic that I could speak or talk about forever. Mm-hmm. Because I don't think we can ever exhaust the conversation about leadership. Mm-hmm. And the question you so rightly ask of whether leaders are born or made, I think the starting point is they are all born. Because I don't know of any human being who came to this earth through any other means, if not born by a woman. So I think all leaders then are born. But anyway, that's being on a light note. I am a person who believes that those who say leaders are born are not very wrong. But leaders are also made. So I can authoritatively say that leaders are equally born and made. And I can back that up with a quote that was once said by Shakespeare. He spoke about greatness, but I use that to interpret my leadership. The quote says that some have greatness, some are born into greatness. Some have greatness thrust upon them, and some grow into greatness. It's the same thing with leadership. There are some who are born leaders. Some work out until they become leaders. And some have leadership thrust upon them. That is why we have leaders who are just, they were born into a family where everybody was a leader. Automatically they became leaders. People follow them because they come from those families. We have other people who have nobody who was a leader in their families. But today they are leaders. And maybe they worked their way through. There are some other people who are just seated somewhere someday, maybe in a group, without consciousness about leadership. And the people decided that they wanted to be led by them. So they just had leadership thrust upon them. So I think leaders are equally born and also made. But there is a lot of work that has to be done in the made part. Because whether you are born a leader, whether you are made a leader, there has to be work. Because leadership is something progressive. It involves growth. So that I think would be my perspective on that.
Amazing. What would you say about leadership and integrity?
Leadership and integrity, I would call them twin brothers or sisters. These are two things that are inseparable. Because there is a quote I love that says that leadership is a perfect mix of character and strategy. And if you must lack one, you would rather lack strategy, but not character. And character is what we also define or describe as integrity. It is being a person who has a virtue or virtues that we can be able to speak of. Like how I love speaking about myself because I am a self-made leader, if I may so say. A person who does not come from a family that had leaders. I think in my family, nobody has been a leader anywhere. My mother has never even led a Kamweredo group. My father has never been a chief even in the local cattle dip or any place. But today, I am a leader. But I must say that being a leader and being where I am today, it has taken a lot of integrity, a lot of character. I have had to define myself, to have some values that people can talk about, that people can speak about. I am on record of saying that I have a record of being honest. I have a record of keeping my word. I think in some places, especially where I've been in leadership, places that I can kill, places like my home place, there are places where you can buy anything in a shop using my word because I know I keep my word. So leadership and integrity can never be separated. You can never be, say you are a leader if you lack in integrity, if you lack in character. Because leadership is about showing the way. It's about knowing the way, show people that way, and also walk in that way. It means you have been to that place, and then you come back, take your people, and guide them to that place where you have been. So it's about walking the talk. So that's why I say leadership and integrity are children of the same parents. They are intertwined in a way that one cannot work independent of the other. Yes.
So is it possible for one to be in politics and still be a Christian?
That's an interesting topic. It's an interesting issue because I think it's one of the issues that I've handled a lot in my journey as a leader. Because something I didn't mention is that I'm also born again. Like I'm a believer. And in Mount Kenya University, I've served for a longer period as a church leader, even before I led the entire school as the president of Mount Kenya University, main campus and also the other campuses. And I actually appreciate the fact that you have the interest and you are able to see that it is important to have Christians or members of the Christian Union also vying in leadership. And I must commend you and say that is also leadership. Because I think I fought a very great battle in the bid to convince people that one can be a leader. And actually, you see, the Bible says that when the righteous are in leadership, people rejoice. But when the wicked reign, there is fear, there is trouble in the land. So how can we have the righteous? You know, I went to some place some other time and found people praying earnestly for the institutions' elections. That, Father, we pray for a righteous leader. But there was no righteous person vying. And I was asking them, are you waiting for God to drop a righteous leader from heaven into the school, into the ballot box? Or what are you planning? So we must encourage believers to lead. Christ encouraged leadership. God sent Jesus Christ as a leader. Because Christ, apart from dying for us, he came to show us the way. Leadership is about showing the way. He preceded, he went before us. Because leadership is about walking the talk. He came and spoke about forgiveness, and he walked that path of forgiveness. So Jesus is one of the greatest leaders. That is why he would be called a rabbi, a teacher. He would be called a leader. And therefore, I believe that it is possible. And as a matter of fact, the greatest thing that can ever happen to any nation is to have the godly leaders in their leadership. The greatest thing that can ever happen to any institution is to have godly leaders in that leadership. Mount Kenya University transformed from the day we started having the Christian Union producing leaders. And I must say something. And I want to tell this to the church directly. In any given institution in Kenya, considering that Christians are the people who are called Christians, whether total believers or just Christians, are the majority. The church has the greatest number. And I want to assure you that if today in this university you decided to front one person and believers decided to support that person based on his character or her character, based on virtues and the fact that they know where he gets his principles from, that is from the Bible, that person would go unopposed. But the problem is we produce a member from the Christian Union to vie, but again when we go to the ballots, I will vote like Kamau, she will vote like Atieno, and the other person will vote according to their tribe and those other things. So one of the ways to end tribalism is to vote for lines that we are clear and we can be able to identify with. And one of those things is people who are God-fearing, people who get their virtues, their principles from the Bible, from the leadership of Christ. Paul would say that, imitate me as I imitate Christ. So let us follow people who imitate Christ, because those are leaders. They are following the right person. So we can confidently follow them. So I would encourage that a lot. And I appreciate the fact that you actually have those thoughts.
Amazing. So a leader also follows.
a leader follows.
Yeah.
And you see, that is one of the greatest challenges that people don't understand. People think that leadership is about being big-headed, especially in campus. People think leadership in campus is about leading strikes, comrade power, and RIA and whatever. It is those things are okay. Those things are okay. We need to have that power. We need to see the comrade power, which you usually say that it's stronger than Kenya power, you know. But leaders are at some point followers. And to be a good leader, I'll give you this model that I use in my life. I believe that to be a good leader, you need to have someone you are following, who, in other words, we call a mentor. And you also need to have someone who follows you, a mentee. So that every day I wake up, I aspire to do things to be like my mentor, to reach where my mentor is. And I also wake up to do things so that the mentee I have can be able to have some standard to follow. So I am always at check. Before I do something, I wonder if this person who is following me sees me doing this, will they be encouraged? And again, I ask myself, if my mentor sees me doing this, will he be encouraged that I am growing? So leaders follow also.
Amazing.
Yes.
So in relation to that, how do you become a leader and still maintain relationships with your family, with the people you are leading, and also with your friends?
I love that word, relationship, because leadership is about relationships. Leadership is an ability by itself. There are so many definitions of leadership, and one that I would actually love to underscore today is that leadership is the ability to relate with people, to make people feel they have the ability to achieve their dreams, to make people feel motivated. It's about encouraging people. It's about making them feel important. As a matter of fact, as a leader, I encourage people that your role should be much of taking responsibility when things go wrong and allowing the others to take credit when things go good. Because if they feel that you're giving them an opportunity to be at their best, you are able to give them the aspirations and to make them feel that they can be able to achieve their vision, then that is leadership. So you cannot tell me that you are good at relating while you cannot be able to relate with the people who are closest to you. That includes your spouse, that includes your family, your siblings, depending where you come, and all those kind of things. So as a leader, you must be able to lead from in front. You must be at the top of things. I love, when I look at my mentor, I want to see that my mentor is doing good when it comes to family matters. I want to see a mentor who is also doing okay when it comes to relating with maybe people in where they go to church, relating with workmates, and so on and so forth. So we should never, because I've seen this trend where people take advantage of saying, you know, I'm a leader, I'm so committed, I cannot be able to get time for my friends, I cannot be able to get time to cultivate a relationship. You see, at the end of the day, leadership is influence. That's what John C. Maxwell, one of my leadership coaches, say. Leadership is influence. You must have people following you. But you must always remember that these people can always get someone else to follow. And when they get someone else to follow, you will still have your spouse at home. You still have your siblings. You cannot change them. You can change your followers, but you cannot change your siblings. You can change your followers, but you cannot change your family. So create time for your family. That is leadership. Show leadership in your family. Show leadership in your relationship. Show leadership in every space, in every area of your life.
Amazing. I would also like you to talk about how leaders can grow, because I am of the opinion that all human beings have the dominion mandate. So I believe every human being on earth is a leader. All they need to do is discover that they are leaders. So how do they grow as leaders and also tap into being a leader, knowing they are?
Wonderful. You know, Shadeen, you've actually mentioned a very provocative word, dominion, because as Christians, as followers and believers of Christ and the good book, the Bible, one of the greatest things that God has ever given us is the mandate to dominate. Because that is the first thing he said to man, that to dominate.
Yeah.
And you know, dominate means lead. Be the king. Have that leadership. Take charge of the kingdom. You know, that's why he says that he is a king of kings. We are the kings he's talking about.
Yeah.
And then he's a senior king, you know,
Yeah.
and the Lord of Lords.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to indulge into that topic of dominion a lot, because that's not actually the question that you asked
Yeah.
per se. But I wish we get some other time, some other day we can discuss much about
Sure.
dominion.
Yeah.
Because if only we understood our dominion mandate, we would not be asking questions like whether a Christian can be a leader,
Yeah.
whether you can be a preacher and at the same time be leading in other areas,
Yeah.
maybe in an institution, maybe in political arenas and whatever. If only we understand the dominion mandate,
Yeah.
because everything has been put under us. We are the people who are supposed to lead,
Yeah.
because we have the seed of the Father. You know,
Yeah.
we are born of that great seed of leadership
Yeah.
that is in our Father, who is God. But again, to now answer the question, is spoken about leadership,
Yeah.
about growth.
Yeah.
Growth is deliberate.
Yeah.
Growth is deliberate. You must make a decision to grow.
Yeah.
And out of all creations that God created, every creation achieves its maximum potential,
Yeah.
apart from human beings. I mean, you know, we are in a place like this. If you look at the tree that is right behind us,
Yeah.
this tree will grow to the
Maximum.
maximum potential. I mean, if you see it at that height, maybe it's still growing, or that is the farthest that it can go. But human beings, we do not even reach quarter of our potential. We do not even reach quarter of our potential, because growth does not just happen. You cannot sleep as a leader and say that you are going to grow. I tell people that leaders are readers. Every great leader is a reader.
Yeah.
You get it? You cannot say you are a leader if you do not read. There is something I call personal growth. Personal growth is a topic we can speak for almost a year. And I wish we can have a session purely on personal growth. Personal growth means that, for example, now you are a student, you're in school, and apart from what you're doing, what you're learning in class,
Yeah.
there are things that you never be taught by anybody. It is your initiative to learn them and to grow. I started off as a leader in a home cell group. I became the president of one of the biggest private universities.
Yeah.
I moved from there. I am now at the constituency level, leading the entire constituency. And projectively, I know I will lead even, but that has not just happened. I have purpose to grow.
Yeah.
I read a lot, because through reading, I might never interact with Obama, but through reading,
Yeah.
I am able to tell what he has gone through, what he thinks,
Yeah.
and what his policies and principles are. I might never interact with somebody like Warren Buffett if I come to the financial leadership and
Yeah.
growth. But today I can be able to tell you the principles that have made Warren Buffett to be among the richest people in the world. So growth, Charlene, is deliberate. Every leader must purpose to grow if you want to continue leading. Because I'll sum that by saying a leader is someone who has influence. And John C. Maxwell says that leadership is influence. If you do not have people following you, if you do not have influence, you are just taking a walk in the park. You are not a leader. So for you to have people following you, you must always be a step ahead. Run ahead of the others, so that by the time they get there, you have been there, and you can be able to tell them how to go about where they are today. So you must grow. So take deliberate. Be, number one, be a reader. Number two, purpose to take steps that improve yourself daily. Optimize yourself. You know, those who are dealing with the technological issues I speak about, optimization. Keep on optimizing yourself. Optimize your brain, your soul, your heart,
Yeah.
your mindset, your goals. Keep on optimizing yourself. Optimize your vision. So grow.
Yeah.
And as you grow, the people behind you will follow you. As they see you progressing,
Yeah.
they want to see progress. Nobody will follow a redundant person. I know you would not be here seated and listening to me
Yeah.
if where I was 10 years ago is where I still am today.
Yeah.
We are here because you've seen me grow. What I need to underscore is that growth is deliberate.
Amazing. So, wow, thank you very much. I would like you to tell us what are your future ambitions when it comes to leadership.
Future ambitions. You know, sometimes, especially when you're in the field of politics, that question about future ambitions sometimes is a little bit tricky because people want you to declare your stand, you know, and sometimes it could cause a conflict of interest or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, what I need to say is that I am an active student, a very active student in the School of Personal Growth. I have dedicated personal time for growth,
Yeah.
and that is what I do every other day. Just the other day, one of my bosses commented, I love the fact that some places I have a boss and some places I am the boss. You know? It feels good. It feels good. That's leadership. And one of my bosses commented during my birthday and wrote just one sentence that you are an asset to the team. And I said, I was telling my friend, if you have done at least basic business skills,
Yeah.
you know what being an asset
Means.
means. You're adding value, you're growing. So, what I'm saying is, I am aspiring, I have great aspirations.
Yeah.
One day, one time, I might lead this nation.
Yeah. We are
Who knows?
looking forward to that. Yeah.
I'm doing what I have to do to place myself in that position. And I'll simply tell God, you know, God, I have now builded capacity. I have builded capacity. So I am able to handle, because God will not give you something that will kill you. You know, if you came with a vehicle here and I said today I feel philanthropic, can they feed your tank? If your vehicle can only consume 3,000, even if I am a billionaire, you will only go with a 3,000 fuel tank. But if you have a 10,000 liter tank, that's what you get.
Yeah.
So I am building capacity. I know I project to be the next member of parliament in my constituency,
Yeah.
God willing,
Yeah.
and if all goes as planned. But what I need to do is to make sure by 2022 I will have built capacity to be a member of parliament. By 2032, I want to be something else at the national level. And I know before long, one day, one time,
Yeah.
I'll also be, the name Karondo will be a trademark in this country.
Wow.
So that's what I can say about my future ambitions
Yeah.
in the political arena and also in the business field. You know, we are not limited to anything. And you know, the Bible says that even the whatever, the kettles on 1,000 hills, they belong to us. So on the next time, as people talk about people like the billionaire Dangote, and they spoke about Warren Buffett, they also mentioned Karondo.
Yeah.
It is not hard. It is not a hard name. It is very easy to mention.
Yeah.
So I want to lead in the financial and business sector, to lead in the education sector. As you heard today, I'm a director in a college.
Yeah.
You might not have had that college a lot, because you are just in our first year. But give me 2 years.
Yeah.
Give me 2 years. Give me 2 years. I'll also be leading in the education sector.
Okay.
So I am quite ambitious, and I believe that
Wow.
I'm going to get there.
Wow. You will get there.
Yes,
You will
and
get
all of us must have visions,
there.
and write those visions down. Have a checklist and say that I have achieved this. Somebody came to my house one day and I showed them a checklist, and they were laughing because I had written buy a duvet by 2019 January. Yeah, so they were laughing, but I was saying, why are you laughing? I have a duvet and 2 bed sheets. It was a vision.
Yeah.
It is now achieved. So it might seem this small, but I achieved it.
Wow.
You have not achieved because you don't have the vision. And the Bible says people perish because
Of lack of
they lack vision. They don't have a vision. You know? So let people be objective. Have a vision.
Amazing. So Charles, I think you can talk to some of the members in charge. I think actually you can talk to all of them and tell them something about leadership. Yeah.
Thank you
Apart
very
in
much.
short.
Thank you very much. I first of all appreciate for this opportunity to be here today, to interact with you and our esteemed viewers. And this topic about leadership is a topic I'm passionate about. Not I want to tell each and every one of you who is listening to us today who is following and watching is that you are a leader. You are a leader. Whether you are born as a leader, whether you had leadership thrust upon you, or even whether you have grown into leadership, you are a leader. But I want to tell you that you must make a deliberate action to grow. You must make a deliberate action to improve your leadership. As I said, leadership is about influence. You will not influence people if you are not growing yourself. Nobody will follow you in the business field if you yourself, you are not growing as a business person, as an entrepreneur. So I want to tell you that you have a mandate, you have a potential. And as I said, every other creation maximizes its potential apart from human beings. Why can't you be among the few that maximizes their potential? Be the best that you can be. Be the best that God made you to be. And I want to assure you that your name also can be a trademark. Your name also can be popular like any other person you've had. That does not mean that you are not humble. And let nobody cheat you that not being known by anybody now, that is humility. No, Jesus was known by everybody, and he was still humble. So why can't you be like Jesus? Be known by everybody, be philanthropic, achieve the greatest, achieve greatness and achieve leadership, and still remain humble. So thank you very much. I wish you the best as you become the best that you can be, as you optimize yourself to be the greatest of all times.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
Wow. So, wow, Charles, thank you for joining us on the show. As always, it's an honor to have you speak about such things. We hope to see more of you.
Definitely. The pleasure is all mine. And thank you very much for having me.
Wow, amazing. If there is something that I have learned from that segment, is that you need to have personal development, and also you need to ensure that you have great relationships with your family, with your friends, and also with your spouses. Because once the followers go back home, you have to relate with these people. Now, I have been your host, Charlene Kadhoni Gitao. I hope to see you next time. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Till then, goodbye, take care, and you are loved too much.